What is going on in college baseball? Like, seriously, what? We're not even halfway into this year, and there's already been enough wild and wacky shenanigans and historical D1 college baseball events that have happened that I'm halfway tempted to make an entire video about it. But nah, I think I'm good. Anyways, have a lovely day, gamers. Peace. I'm just kidding. Let's get into it. Just to preface real quick, I'm not really a college baseball fan. I've never really watched college baseball. So I'm not really tapped in with like who's good right now or really anything beyond just surface level things I see on Twitter sometimes. They're installing 2 first bases, like what is going on over there? But if the stuff we're gonna go over in this video is common, I might have to start watching. And if you're like me where you really only watch MLB, you're in for it now, baby. Even just keeping it to D1, like Lord knows what kind of antics go on in D2, D3, NAIA, and JUCO. This first one we have is just kind of a feel-good one to start out with. This is Parker Byrd, and he plays for East Carolina University. As is typical with most upper-tier baseball players, he's played ball his entire life, and he loves the sport. But unfortunately, back in 2022, he was involved in a boating accident that resulted in him losing his right leg. He was out rafting when the boat he was being towed behind was put into reverse, which sucked under the wire and pulled him underneath the boat. The doctors did the best they could to save his leg, but after a while he was forced to make the decision to either lose it or he would probably die. And typically being alive is better than not being alive, so they were forced to amputate his leg. And during his recovery in 2023, he never lost his love for the game, so he was determined to get back out there and play again. So in the year 2024, armed with a new prosthetic leg, he made his first college baseball appearance for ECU. He played in 3 games during the 2024 season and even managed to make this little moment happen.
Oh, he just misses it. No, that's it.
Honestly, in my opinion, this just really shows how far human perseverance can take you once you really put your mind to something. Godspeed, Mr. Byrd. Godspeed. Now, a lot of these aren't really much more than just this funny thing happened, but honestly, they don't really need to be anything more than that. I mean, they're funny how they are, so let's just speedrun a few of them real quick. In a game against USC, this Michigan player celebrates his triple by doing a line of chalk. I mean, it gets pretty cold in Michigan, so he's probably pretty used to snowblowing at this point. He actually had to do a Notes app apology after this clip went viral because the powers that be think that line snorting imagery in baseball isn't for children, and we all know baseball is for children, so let's keep it PG, guys, okay? In this game between UNC and Southern Miss, this swing is pretty close enough that they have to check it. So the camera pans over to first, where the Invisible Man confirms that yes, he did in fact go. Just the like sitcom style cut to no one standing there is it's just so funny to me. This one happened in a game between FGCU and Georgia, whatever this is. I guess something happened with the audio equipment, so the commentator had a bit of a Peter Frampton talkbox moment. Honestly, it sounds pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. This one is just Nolan Schubert hitting bombs left and right. This one is allegedly 517 feet. It's probably not actually that far, but it was far. He hit this ball oppo, by the way, which is insane. Context for that is that oppo takes more power from the hitter because to hit a ball oppo means you have less distance to swing and let the bat get up to speed and gather momentum. So hitting the ball oppo that far is crazy. Like, even if it didn't actually go 517, he still smoked it out of the park. This one's just kind of sad. A double missed grounder that turns into an in-the-park home run. Looking like 2 of me out there trying to field the ball. I'll feel your pain, brothers. This dude went for a last-ditch Hail Mary throw to try to save the game and ended up almost doing a flip like a cartoon character. What was that one meme? The guy that doesn't let go of the bowling ball? Yeah, that one. Alright, speed run over. Let's get back to some more in-depth ones now. A pitcher at UNC lost a no-hitter on the final swing of the game because the batted ball hit the runner. Now, rationally, you would watch this clip and think, gee, that's not a hit. They called an out because batted balls that hit runners mean the runner is out. No hits in the game, so no hitter, right? Well, this went down as a hit and an out. So no hitter for you, I guess. Miraculously though, all's well that ended well for UNC. 1 week after this, UNC baseball pitched a combined no-hitter. They gave up a run in the game, but Who cares? If you wanted a UNC no-hitter after this poor sap lost one because of batted ball RNG, then you got one. Auburn versus Kentucky. 2-2 count, and Auburn is trying to get the hype juices flowing, so they're getting a little rambunctious. One of the umps takes notice, and he's not too keen about it. He turns to the dugout and starts telling them, hey, we're not doing that, stop. So their response? Let's do it more. Ump turns around, says fair play, and that's the end of the story. Ball game continues. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, that's not what happened. Are you living in Stupidville? This is an umpire we're talking about here, and someone just challenged his authority. He's pissed. Ump calls time, and they start having a little council meeting. This guy just starts flossing out of nowhere, which in any other context would be cringe, but man, that camera cut just comes out of nowhere and hits you like a truck. Mr. Ump is just getting more and more heated by the second, so he tells Auburn's coach, you gotta get your players to knock it off. And spoiler, they don't. So the ump ends up ejecting 2 guys from the dugout. One of them tries to leave through the crowd, which the angry ump says no, go through the dugout, and the other guy thought he was ejected, then he thought he wasn't ejected, and then he was told, nah, buddy, you're definitely ejected. And in one final moment of protest, the whole dugout turns their back to the game. What a nifty little series of events. And offense has been completely out of control as well. Oregon won a game 35-1 against Columbia. You heard that right, 35-1 in a baseball game. Imagine getting on the bus to go home after that one. Like, what do you even say in the post-game speech as the coach? Oregon scored 8 runs just in the 6th inning alone. And it gets even crazier yet. Meanwhile, Indiana State scored 20 runs in 1 inning in a 36-6 win against Wagner College. 20 consecutive hitters also reached base in that inning. No outs in a row for 20 straight hitters. Now, of course, 20 runs in a single inning is like ridiculous. But then, George Mason University thought, hey, let's just one-up that. So they ended up scoring 23 runs in the 2nd inning of a game against Holy Cross. And of course, obviously, they set a new NCAA record for most runs in a single inning. Tennessee also tied the record for grand slams in a game with 3. They had 8 grand slams in their first 15 games of the season. Imagine for 4 weeks of games in college, your team has shown they can hit a grand slam in more than half of them. And then Kansas did something that no MLB team has ever even done, but it has been done in college before, so they tied this record. 5 straight home runs in the same game. They won that game 29-1 in just 7 innings. Now, upsets in sports are pretty cool, if it's not against your team, that is. So here's the upset of the year so far. The University of Washington has a reputable ball program. Within the last 10 years, they've been to 3 regionals and had 1 College World Series appearance. This year, they lost to a D3 school in a real game. Washington 1, Pacific Lutheran University 3. Hell yeah. Hawaii versus UC Davis. Hawaii's up in the bottom of the 13th inning in this game a couple weeks ago with the score tied, bases loaded, 2 outs, and 2 strikes. The runner takes off to steal home while the batter is swinging, which is probably about the most dangerous thing you can do in baseball if you like having your head attached to your body and your brain not being turned into spaghetti. The batter fouls it off, so gotta send the guy back to third and the play's dead, right? Well, no, because the pitcher somehow balked. I'd assume it's like this little leg jiggle thing he did here, but the ump sure took his time to call this one. Staying in Hawaii, on April 1st, Hawaii officially announced that the QB of their football team was now on the roster for their baseball team as a pitcher. And yes, they did actually put him on the roster and did a little promo for him and everything. Then we all realized what day it was. Y'all want to see a fight? Of course you do. Let's watch a fight. This game between Jackson State and Prairie View A&M has just ended with the Panthers walking it off 7-6 with a double. As the batter is rounding first on his way to second, he sees his teammate cross home plate, winning them the game. As a celebration, he pulls off his helmet and tosses it towards the infield. Amidst the celebrating, one of the Jackson State players is really mad, so he charges one of the Prairie View players and blindsides him. This starts a fight, so of course the bench is clear. They're fighting, they're breaking up fights, fans and parents parents are coming on the field, so the announcer is telling them if they don't get off the field, they'll be banned. It's a lot. At one point, one of the players grabbed the bat from home plate and absolutely whipped it towards the stands. Like, bro, what is wrong with you? At the end of it, not only were both schools fined $25,000, but a total of, count 'em, 9 players were suspended. 3 from Prairie View and 6 from Jackson State. A pretty harsh punishment in my opinion, except for the guy that whipped the bat, but college has been cracking down on fighting, so I guess they're trying to set an example in any way they can to show that they don't want people fighting. This one's just sweet in my opinion. A bunch of students rushed to the field after a walk-off to just celebrate the game win with the team. And finally, for the last one of the day, remember that thing I said earlier about how they're putting 2 bags at first base? Watch this clip and then I'll tell you what happened.
Off the glove of King, Shelton has to barehand the throw not in time.
That runner is out, by the way. Now, how does that make sense? You can clearly see the umpire calling him safe. He was clearly safe. He hit the bag way before the ball came in. Well, the reason he was determined out is because the call was challenged. And it was challenged because he didn't hit the safety bag. He hit just the straight up first base bag. So therefore, he's out because he didn't technically touch the bag. Because he didn't touch the right bag. Like, dude, it's so dumb. This would have tied the game 2-2, by the way. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I know this was kind of a weird all over the place video, but I just kind of wanted to talk about some of these because, like, what is going on in college ball right now? I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you did, all that good stuff. If not, fair enough. Anyways, have a lovely day, gamers. Peace.